Everyone. We are really excited to be here with Joanne from PreVu Dental. PreVu is one of our partners in the partner program, and PreVu brings a really cool business model into your practice that enables a really positive revenue increase. And the reason why I get excited about it is that it is a model that can be easily implemented, and it's necessary for today's generation and moving into being able to view it virtually, and Joanne will explain how that all works, but it's very accepted by today's patient. And therefore, you're starting to see a opportunity for revenue increase. And so, Joanne, we're so excited to have you walk us through PreVu and the software and introducing the business.
Sure. Spencer, thanks for having me. I'm really happy to be here today. So we are all about revenue generation at PreVu. And the way that we do that with offices is we have an amazing software that we design for dentists. Think of it as a Photoshop on steroids for dentists. It happens to be the fastest, easiest software for creating natural looking simulations for the purpose of case acceptance. So we know that a lot of practices, no matter how busy you are, we can be busy and not as profitable as we would like to be. And no matter what, probably they say the average dental practice is leaving about $500,000 of revenue on the table. We know it's much, much more than that. When we talk to our own clients, it's more millions of dollars in revenue on the table. And the question is, how do we capture that revenue? How do we get people who we've recommended treatment to say yes to treatment? But also, how do we really capture revenue that we're not even talking about? Cases that we're not even talking about. A lot of people are getting more interested in cosmetic dentistry, and offices, if they just had conversations that they aren't even having right now, they could probably increase their revenue by 15 to 30%. So why aren't they having those conversations? It's all the typical reasons. We don't want to feel like we're salespeople. We don't want to offend the patient if they're not asking us about things. We are watching their wallet. I did a presentation recently, and a doctor was like, he calls it X-raying their wallet. And if the doctors are not guilty of it, certainly some staff members are. We don't want to talk about things if it's expensive, because then we feel bad because they might want it and then they can't afford it, and it's a whole thing. So we need to get over all of that. And if we can have the philosophy that every single patient who comes into the practice deserves to have a beautiful smile that they love and makes them feel confident, it can actually change their life. And we know that. The doctors that are doing bigger cases, they know that a smile is life-changing. I think we say that all the time, but do we really believe it in the sense that we look at every patient in that way when they come to the practice, that we want to help almost every patient have a smile that they love and sometimes don't know they need or want? And why is that? Because they're looking in the mirror every day. They don't see damage that has happened over time. They don't think they're that vain. They think they look fine. So what we do at PreVu is we've created a software that is, as Spencer said, really easy. Any member of the team is intended to do it. As a matter of fact, it's intended to be delegated to the team. So typically in a general practice, we're working with hygienists, treatment coordinators, dental assistants, and they can use it as a tool to show people what is possible. So anyone can use it to create a simulation in under 90 seconds. And basically how you do it is you just take a full face, natural smile photo like this in 90 seconds or less. It's really about a minute. Some are 20 seconds, some are more, but no more than 90 seconds. Your team member should be able to create a simulation that looks like this. Now, the fact that you can show a patient a picture like this so quickly, it makes it really practical to use, even more so, but in conjunction with potentially your intraoral camera. Photographs are powerful. We want to use images that have impact on a patient. We have to generate emotion. Patients don't pay to fix problems they don't think they have. So if you can create a simulation, the patient simply looks back and forth from the picture you took in the appointment that day to the simulation that you created really quickly on the computer, and they instantly see, oh, my teeth are worn down. I didn't realize they were crooked. Wow, they're chipped up. I didn't know that they were that yellow. So we can help people to understand their dental issues, even if they're not aware. So many times people come into the dental practice. It's kind of brutal to be a dentist. It's really hard on your body. You've got people coming in saying, I don't like you. I don't want to be here. Don't find anything. So they're not as open, especially in something like a new patient exam. How do we kind of cut through that? How do we build trust, and how do we get them to see they have issues that they could fix? And if they fix them, they would look amazing. A simulation. So even though we talk about it being an educational tool, people do not say yes alone just because they are educated on something. When people are going to invest significantly, they have to really want it. They have to be emotionally connected to it. Patients, and we all as people who are going to buy something or invest in something that is significant in cost to us, we have to really, really, really want it. So how do we tap into that emotion? Because people buy on emotion, we show them their future. We help them to envision what their life will be if they were this enhanced version of themselves that had a smile that they would feel comfortable with. And that is what people say, wow, I want to look like that. They are more open to talk to you about the options. So that's what PreVu does. PreVu is a software that allows your team to create these simulations very quickly. And when you have the software, our client success team works with you to help you then take these pictures and shows you how to incorporate them into your practice. So do we want to add them to a new patient exam to build trust? We have lots of offices that are like, we wait 18 months before we even talk about cosmetics. If they have a need for cosmetics, they have it the first day they walked in your office, as well as 18 months later. But during those 18 months where you haven't talked about something, they could be thinking about doing something, and something in their life may change that they want to move forward. So we are all about strike when the iron's hot, talk to the patient today, new patient exams. But what about hygiene? People come in, we see them, on a regular basis, they know your office, they trust the office, but they might not see a need. How does your hygienist re-engage patients who have been recommended treatment and haven't moved forward? How do we have a team that feels comfortable having conversations that were never had through hygiene to build cases? 60 to 70% of production comes through hygiene. We have to get our hygienists to realize this is not just a task, but it is a very valuable tool that can help support the practice and patients. It's a win-win situation to get patients to have smiles that they love. And of course, if you are marketing at all for any higher value treatments like implants or implant retained dentures, you want to maximize your revenue. It takes a lot to get that patient in the chair from marketing. They have to call, they have to actually schedule, they then actually have to show up. And then, and only then, do you have a chance to close them on the case. And when they walk in your office, it's your case to lose. So we help you actually use it in high value consults to maximize your marketing spend and close more of those cases. How's that, Spencer? A big earful for your listeners.
Yeah. But easy to understand the concept. And like you said, cosmetic dentistry has over the last few years really become necessary and opportunistic, and this is just right in line with that. And so I think that if you can show us or show us where to go to understand how easy the software works and so forth, then I would love to learn more about it.
Sure. So basically what happens is the software is downloaded onto your computer in your practice. It can be on all of the computers. As I mentioned, we want it to be easily accessible, so you can use this whether it's in a hygiene room or a treatment room or a consult room. You take a picture, really simple. We don't need lip retractors. We don't need a big fancy DSLR camera, something that you're comfortable having your team use and they're comfortable actually using, just a simple point and shoot. You're going to take the picture, upload it into the software, and it'll end up on this screen. And then you can see that there are a lot of different buttons here that are reflective of dental treatments. Really popular button would be the Smile Makeover button. This is going to be the button that you would use for dentures, overdentures, implant retained dentures, crown and bridge, dental veneers, orthodontics, or in the sense of using it as an educational mock-up, typically this is also going to be the button that you're going to use. Now, I want to make it really clear, PreVu is not a treatment planning software. We are not going to sit here for any more than 90 seconds. We are not going to edit each tooth by tooth, which of course you can with some of these other buttons. But we are going to give someone an idea of what their transformation is, and we're not necessarily focused on the teeth. At this point in a new patient exam, in the first appointment of a high value consult, we are not worried if the distals are squared or rounded or how long the tooth is, 10 millimeters, 10 and a half. We don't care here. We are just trying to educate the patient and get the emotional connection. So I'm going to click Smile Makeover. And then we're going to start the treatment. And the software uses artificial intelligence to trace the inside border of the lip. And that is really the guideline, which is going to tell you, the viewer, the user, where the software intends to put this new set of teeth from our Smile library. So you can see that the blue line is here. If you agree with the blue line, we just go ahead and click Continue. You can then see on the right side, the software has put a set of teeth into the patient's mouth. We've got a bunch of templates here. We keep it really simple when we train your team on this, so we don't make it confusing. They are not intended to be a smile designer or a graphic designer, but you can see that the software just popped a set of teeth in. I made it bigger so you could see. And at this point, you would look at it and see if you wanted to make any changes. If you do, you can pop out of this view and make some edits. Or if you're happy with the way the simulation is, you basically can put this on the monitor in your treatment room to show your patient. We call it a big reveal in a consult. Like I said, it's an educational mock-up if it's a new patient exam. But regardless of why the patient is in your practice, we want to make sure you send this picture home with them. So we actually treat patients very much like consumers in a way that have a buying process to go through. It's an active decision-making process. It's heavily documented, and it's how kind of consumer research and the way other companies sell to you is based on. It applies here because many times we're asking people to move forward with things that are fee for service, and they are paying for these things out of pocket, and they have a lot of ways that they can spend their direct discretionary income, and we want to convince them to spend it on having a beautiful smile. So we not only want to show them in the office what the simulation will look like, but we want to send it home with them because they may not be ready in that moment. It may be the first time they're having this discussion. If they have a problem and they're coming in for a consult, you might be the first consult, but it's a $50,000 treatment plan. I think we would all agree that if we were about to spend $50,000 out of our pocket, we may go on several consults. So how would you differentiate your consult? And are they ready now because they've already been on 4 consults like this particular gentleman? He had the money to move forward with treatment. He was actively looking for a doctor to do his case. He had 5 consults. And it wasn't until the consult where he had a preview shown, where he saw his transformation, that he said, wow, this is why I want to have this done. I'm walking around with my hands covering my mouth when I'm talking. So what made also a difference to him was not only seeing his transformation, but also wondering, out of the other 4 practices I was at, why didn't they show me something like this? This was an implant retained denture case. So why every office had implants with models in it, or models with implants in it, but no one showed me this. So to him, the doctor who did show him this, he had thought that he was going to have better care in that practice. Now, whether that was true or not, we don't know. but that was his perception. So we always want to figure out, how can we enhance the patient experience? How can we do something a little bit different when they come to our office? Even if it's simply a cherry on top of the case presentation for us, because we feel like we do everything really well. I've had offices tell me, well, when they walk in our office, we have a smell to our office. It smells beautiful when you come into our office. And yes, of course, that is one way that you can enhance the patient experience. But there is nothing like seeing a transformation of your own face to have someone move forward. So you do want to send the picture home in case they do plan on going out of the consults, or simply because they have to speak to someone. There's a co-decision maker at home that has to agree to the finances being spent in this way. We want to make sure that that conversation has much more impact. It is much more impactful to send a picture home than to just send home a folder with fees and codes, which mean nothing to that person at home who's being asked to agree to spend $15,000, $30,000 plus to have their potential, let's say, spouse to get their dental treatment done. So very easy to get. You saw was a click of a button to get to this screen. It is populated already with your logo, our default text. We can change the doctor's name here, or we can just have the practice name. We can go ahead and change different treatments, smile makeover, implant dentistry, whatever we want to have here. And the other great thing about this template, and I think this is hugely important in offices, is it allows you to show patients their options. Sometimes when patients come in, we have all had them. I've been in dentistry since 1985. That patient comes in, they have that one little thing that they think is a problem. There's a lot more than that going on. We can meet them where they're at. We can do a simulation fixing their problem, but we can also do another simulation that shows the outcome that you think that they would be happier with. And you can show those two outcomes on this printout along with the before picture. We highly suggest you print it out, as I mentioned before, to go and have that discussion with that co-decision maker. But also, a lot of times people don't move forward because they're afraid. It's a big decision. It's a lot of money. A lot of doctors and practices, they think it's only the money. I hear time and time again, oh, my patients, if they have the money, they're doing it. Even if you talk to the finance companies, they're going to tell you they're frustrated because people get approved for financing and they don't move forward. So what can we do to help that patient who is concerned, scared? They don't have the confidence. We give them this picture so they can go and share it with their friends and family, who will tell them, you look amazing, you should do this. I know someone who did this. They wish they did it 5 years ago. Yeah, it was a lot of money, but it was worth every penny, and you can't believe how amazing this person looks. When your patient gets feedback like that, it really helps them to feel confident to say yes. So we want to suggest that you not only print it, but you also email it, because they will use these in different ways.
Joanne, I really like the rollout of how to utilize the data that's provided. And I especially liked the idea of, for everyone that has a monitor inside their each of the near each chair in their office, super helpful to just throw that on the screen while the patient is in the chair. Talk about a wow or aha moment. And then, like you said, to top it off with printing it out, sending it home, and then on an electronic copy as well. It's like, I love the process of it. I really love the simplicity of creating the smile that we were able to see in your demonstration. And most of all, everybody loves the opportunity for some year-over-year revenue by implementing a new model inside the practice. So what a great presentation today. I'm really excited about it, and it's been awesome to hear from you and
Thank you.
And all about it. What else, Joanne, as we wrap up?
I just want to say that a lot of doctors think that they don't need a tool like this. They think they're busy enough. The case acceptance is okay. You know, I do cases for my patients, but I will tell you, even the patients that you least expect, they're not interested. They won't even pay for a third hygiene visit in a year. They're just not interested. I had one doctor tell me anyone in my area that could afford to do this, they have all moved to Florida. I mean, sometimes they get in their own way and they get in their own head. If you just simply look at it as a picture that you can present to help people see what's possible, then you should just use this all the time. And what we do at PreVu is we train your team. We train your team not only to use our software, which you can see is very easy, and they're not going to spend more than 90 seconds doing a simulation, but it's more than that. We have a whole training protocol because we have to create a habit. We have to get people confident. We give you scripting. We give you patient types to target. We really baby step the use of PreVu in an office. So many people say, well, I want to preview everybody. And they end up doing that. But we can't come into your office and say, hey, team, preview everybody. They don't know what to say. They don't know what to do. So we come in and we give you specific protocols, and we call it gaining a rapid ROI. We want you making money 3 to 10 times what you pay us for the year within the first 60 days. So many offices do it in day one. If you follow the training that we give you, and sometimes doctors are hesitant, I can't take time to train my team. If you take a little time to train your team, you'll have a happier team, you'll have a more confident team, better trained teams stay with you longer, they're less stressed out, but more importantly, you're giving them the tools they need to reach your production goals and make them feel good. And also, this is cosmetic dentistry or reconstructive dentistry. People seeing their smiles for the first time and feeling like, oh my God, I have a new lease in life. It's way more fun than a root canal or anything like that. So work with us. Let us help you get those cases from patients that you are going to go home and say, I can't believe I just did this. Let us help you feel better about the day, which is so stressful seeing a lot of patients, but it feels so good when you give a patient a mirror for the first time and they have a reaction and they're so excited and they're crying and they're getting up and they're hugging the doctor and all of these really positive things. And the doctor did that during the day. So we really would love the opportunity to work with your office. Contact us. You can go to our website and schedule a one-on-one talk with us and see how we can help you meet your goals. But we would love to just work with you. Let us teach your team. Let us help you grow your practice. That's really what we're here to do.
Thanks, Joanne. What a great presentation. A lot more to come from Joanne and PreVu Dental. So excited to have them and really look forward to working with you.
Great. And we'll be at the summit meeting.
Right.
And we
Yes.
hope to have lots of people walk up to us at the summit meeting and tell us about some of the great cases that were unexpected that you got. So please contact us before then.
That is a great point. Thanks, Joanne. Thanks, everyone, for joining.
Thanks, Spencer. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your time.